I'm already live. Welcome to the Man of Truth, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. Static, no voice. Wow, what's going on? Is it okay now? Aha. Yeah. Welcome. I came back not quite long because I have a few things I was doing today. So that was the primary reason why I stayed a little bit longer before I came live. How was our day? How is the day going? And hope we are ready for today's discussion. Thanks. I'm thinking maybe we give our people few time to join us live. So, like Mr. Rusty said, tomorrow is the day. Hopefully, I just want to hear great news, and that's just it. Um, how did our day go? I've been a little bit um, stressed up a little. I don't know if I would say I'm stressed. I'm not stressed really. I just went out. I'm not the outing kind of person. So I said 7 p.m. because I just been playing on the PS5, trying to not think too much about it. Okay, okay, that's better. That's really better. Yesterday, after our conversation, I think I had few people were kind of interested in the topic yesterday that we had, and they started reaching out. Oh, let me come back to live. Let us have discussions, but I was already asleep, and so that's the reason why I could not. I wasn't even aware. But let's just see where we move around the conversation and make some sense out of what we were discussing yesterday. That's exactly what we are doing. So for those people who are joining, please double tap your screen and show some like so we can dive into today's subject. All right. Please, if you're just joining us, double tap your screen. Part of the things we are going to be touching on is still what are the subjects we discussed yesterday? Can women be good leaders? I forgot what I said an hour ago. What was yesterday about? It's about yesterday was about can women be great leaders? I'm not even saying leaders. I'm saying can women be great leaders? Yeah. So that's what we are still going to review just a little bit. Just a little bit. I did few research, and part of the research I've been able to gather, in my opinion, there is no possibility where we are going to say women cannot be great leaders. Now, I can agree on few things, and part of the things I can agree on is the idea of should women compete with men? And I'm talking about physically. They would definitely be outclassed. There is no chance in hell. So physical competition, thank God for the US and the Western society. So now it's no more a debate. But when it comes to the idea of leadership, it is also, there are certain things that back it up that women can actually be great leaders. And we have to ask ourselves, first of all, as men, how do we come to the idea of democracy? Because men, we can agree that we actually take more actions than what we say. We are more action based than using our words. So our system has always been just move this way in an orderly manner. But basically, because of women in some of their impacts, it helped us shape democracy. And I know some people might not agree, but I come up with few facts to it to back those things up. And I want to say this. Most things that men has protested for, according to history, most things men has protested against, according to history. Welcome. Thanks for joining, Creed. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Most of the things that men has always protested for, majority of time, it always ends in violence, aggression, and the rest of it. But women have been able to protest on things, and they've been able to get results without aggression or violence. I will state what I did in comment sections. Hello. Women tend to be more emotional, leading to them taking things very personally. This emotionally leads to female leaders being very reactive. That is not good for leadership. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. Now, there was something I noticed in our conversation yesterday. And what I noticed about our conversation yesterday was when we started talking about leadership as a man and as a woman, men are the first people who stated that women cannot be leaders. Why? Because women are emotional. But I went back and I looked at the charts and I realized that the first people who resorted to abuse, who resorted to insult, we might call it sarcastic, but where the words start going very abusive and the rest of it, it was the men. And I was like, we just made a statement that women are too emotional. But the moment we came to an idea where we say women cannot be leaders, and I say women can be leaders, and you say women cannot be leaders because they are too emotional, immediately when women begin to bring up different points, the men became very emotional, and you can see the reaction. They can't be good leaders. What is the difference when you say, I didn't say they can't be leaders, I say they can't be good leaders? Okay, you say most men can't be good leaders either. When Mr. Peter joined us yesterday in the conversation, and part of one of the things he said was that he worked under a woman. And you say maybe that's just luck. Now, how can we actually come up with the point that women cannot be great leaders or good leaders? What are the research we've done to come up with those points? And I've said it in my own part that in my experience of life, I've met good women who are good leaders. I wouldn't like to blow most of my own trumpet at people in my life, but I've seen women who are good leaders. Now we have to ask ourselves questions, which are they are part of things I did. When we go towards biblical path, you would see that men have always been, including from the time of all this Moses and the rest of it, they are terrible. Now, I did a little bit of research on US study, and in the US study, there's a S&P Global around 2022. It stated that only about 6.2% of CEO positions in Fortune 500 companies were held by women. Out of 100%, 6.2% of CEO positions in Fortune 500 companies were held by women. How can you verify? How can we know if women can be good leaders if 6.2% of CEO positions in Fortune 500 companies were held by women? Now in the UK, they said about 8% of FTSE 100 companies had female CEOs in 2022. Being a leader to gain personal wealth is not the same as leading people of a country into a better life. Being a leader to gain personal wealth is not as much as just say you don't need research. That's how God established it. And we try to reverse things. Okay, Zeus is coming up from a different ground. Like we are trying to reverse what God has done. How did you know God made it that way? Do you have evidence to back it up that God made it that way? And if we go into religious stuff, you ask yourself, what kind of God makes some kind of laws? Because they are very unspeakable things that God has said, according to Moses, about women. And if that is the God you serve, that God is shameless, that God is no God. That God is a low IQ God. My 5-year-old son is more smarter than that God. So when you say God established it and we try to reverse it, what did God establish? Tell me what God established. And come with facts to back it up. Rusty says God should fear us. Zeus says you don't need research. That's how God established it. And we try to reverse things. Now, back to part of the things I was talking about, and I will read few things out. Now, asked some questions. Okay, in the US, there are numerous corporate scandals, but exact statistics on gender involvement in bad business aren't widely available. What we can infer is based on general data about leadership and scandals. In the US, men have been dominant in leadership roles, according to a study by S&P Global in 2022. Only about 6.2% of CEO positions in Fortune 500 companies were held by women. In the UK, about 8% of FTSE 100 companies had female CEOs in 2022. Because of this leadership gap, men have been overwhelmingly more involved in corporate misconduct cases. Regarding the nature of bad business, reports show that most high-profile corporate scandals such as Enron, Lehman Brothers, and Wells Fargo in the US, or BHS and Carillon in the UK, involved male leaders. This isn't necessarily because men are more unethical, but because they hold more leadership roles. When it comes to actual misconduct in the US, male executives were found to commit fraud more often. But when women were involved, the size of the fraud tended to be smaller. In the UK, a similar pattern emerges with men being more often involved in cases of financial misconduct, though data specific to gender and misconduct remains limited. Three female leaders in my country, I recall, all are despised and classed as useless and a danger to the UK economy. Bro, I could be a woman and CEO of a company of one or two, LOL 8%. It's just proving a point though. Why not more if they can be good leaders? Why aren't they already? Now, here's where the conversation is going. It is saying that if you see a woman who is a good leader, can you identify it? Now, when you say power, most times when we talk about leadership, what we are actually attributing to is power. And why are we attributing it to power? Let us put it in this ways. In the 1960s, let's say women were fighting for having the right to be able to vote, and some stuff. They were able to accomplish it without war. You say power can come in many forms. The moment you're in a position of leadership, there's a particular attribute of power that is being established with you. I don't know if you would agree with that. And trust me, one of the things people get wrong when they hear me talk about it, at least Rusty, you understand I just put out a video not quite long when I was talking to an individual that stopped promoting women who are sending nude pictures, and you want to start defending those people. I'm not about bad women and all of that. I'm not on the side of anybody. You need the power to assert yourself to position and to the people of the country you run. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you to a certain degree. But I'm saying you have this experience, and I'm saying if you identify a lady who is in the position of power, who is in the position of a leader, do you think you can identify and work with her? Now, When you say a woman cannot be a leader, a good leader, let's put it that way. That's what you said, according to your word. You say women cannot be good leaders. The question is, what are the facts to back it up? You said 3 women have been prime minister in the UK, for example. How many male prime ministers have you had? How many of them are bad? And how many of them are good? How many of them are bad and how many of them are good? Show me one woman that can stand up to a room of dominant men questioning her over everything. Have you heard about female cartels? Female ladies who run cartels. Now, there are few female cartel leaders. We have Enedina Arellano Felix in Mexican. We have Sandra Avila Beltran, the queen of the Pacific. We have Griselda Blanco, a leader of a criminal organization in Colombia and the USA. You said a woman who can stand up in the midst of where dominant men are. That is conforming through fear. Fear of what? Now, you might consider your queen, that's Queen Elizabeth, to be not to be successful in her reign. But you do not, what you have done also is to underestimate the effect of Queen Elizabeth and the power she has brought to UK. Most people, when they talk about UK, part of the things people see UK as is basically because of the representation of what we present to the world. And what you guys have presented to the world was a queen with dignity. And that did not only bring respect to the UK, that brings honor, that brings a lot of privilege that UK enjoy till date. Creed has said it. Let me say this. When you call UK, 30% or if not more, a lot of people actually think of Queen Elizabeth. You might say she's a failure, and I'm not disputing it. You are in the country, so you see more than every other person. But just a persona has too many great things to do. I'm not saying she's the leader, but she's leading. Who is more famous in the UK than Queen Elizabeth? I'm asking, who is more famous than Queen Elizabeth in the UK? To the world. I haven't heard of that name before. Whenever we talk about UK, the first name that comes to people's mind is Queen Elizabeth. Why is it not a man that comes to people's mind? See, these things are very simple. And there's a message that I'm trying to bring to people. You see, when you see opportunity and you cannot capitalize on the opportunity and you see it as a threat, he was a famous UK pedophilia connected to the royal family. Well, he's not. What's that kid's name? I can explain the queen if you want. Okay. You can proceed. What a documentary about it. LOL. Now, everything I've been saying, you can remember, Creed, you were on live when we spoke this morning about, this afternoon about women, and I was talking about the choices that men make. And I asked people to, you can ask me a question. King Arthur was not as famous as Queen Elizabeth. Trust me. I'm not saying King Arthur is not famous. I'm saying none is compared to Queen Elizabeth. None of them. The Queen has placed as a figurehead after all the bad things that happened. So people would start to look at us in a more positive light. True story, she was so young, never wanted it, but at the same time, the country needed it. Not even the actors. Not even the actors. Now, I put out something about the choices men make when we were talking about the issue of, I think, Tyrese and the rest of it. And then this afternoon, I think we spoke about a different subject. And I was saying, okay, we played a song, and I was debunking how men can make right choice. She was in WWT, yeah, and I was saying how men could make right choice. What are your takes on those particular will I call it advice or opinion of mine? Because I want you to understand something, Rusty. Please read. I just asked a question. If you can answer it, that will be fine. And Rusty said something about male leadership and the rest of it. For all the male that you know as presidents, which of them during the time of war, including Hitler himself, who went in front of the war to fight? How many presidents, since these are the people who initiate the war, these are the people who ask for attack. The queen has never supposed to be seen as a leader, just here to give us peace. She did though become a leader in ways. Charlie. How can you identify a good woman if you see one? I asked a question this morning. What are the potentials of a good woman? Let us even start with that. And maybe we will hold on this ground for a while. What are the potentials of a good woman? I'm asking a question. What are the potentials of a good woman? How can you identify a good woman? Or do you assume all women are bad? Rusty or Charlie, do you assume all women are bad? If the answer is no, how do you identify a good woman? What are the potentials of a good woman? Okay, so number one, you says, I ask what are the potentials of a good woman? Never going to truly know until it all goes bad, as stated before. How can you identify a good woman? Creed says loyalty. How can you understand that a woman is loyal to you? At least Creed has a point. It says loyalty. Because trust me, some people think a dog is loyal. Dogs are more loyal to who feeds them, not their owners. Who feed a dog more, the dog will be more loyal to you. Rusty says she's only loyal until she isn't. So that means that there is no possibility of you having a woman that you can say she is a good woman. I haven't talked about trust. I just said a good woman. So if you cannot identify a good woman, now that means you cannot have a woman that you can trust. If you cannot trust a woman, then talking about a woman who is a good leader becomes impossible. It is just, if I'm on my deathbed and she was loyal, it is sure I will say it. So the only way you can identify a loyal person is at the end of your life. Nah. I spoke a lot about women today, and I talked about how to identify a good woman. But you have made a choice to see women on the negative light. Trust me, most men, the only reason why they had the mindset they have is basically because they had bad experience with a specific woman. Do not ever doubt that. So, can't a man cheat? You are making me go towards the direction of defending the woman. She be 60 with the winkly looking for a toy boy with a old man trying to pump Viagra just to keep it up. I'm asking a question. I said, can't a man cheat anytime? Is a man a bad man? Let me now ask this question. Is a man a terrible man because he cheats on his wife? I'm asking. When a man cheats, regardless of the fact that he protects and he provides and he does everything at home, is the man considered a evil man, even though he takes care of his children and does everything? Just as these are just simple questions. For me, yes, it's the same both ways. Is Donald Trump a bad man? Is Martin Luther King a bad man? Oh, I shouldn't use Martin Luther King. You see, you do not use because of the idea of someone cheats and use that to class that person's life totally. Now, trust me, a woman just have to cheat once and she's out of my life. I don't give you 2 chances. The wife would say yes, LOL. Yeah. That doesn't change the fact that he's a good man. That doesn't change the fact that he's a great person. That doesn't change anything. The only thing is that he cheated. Now, when it comes to most women, I have my principle. If a woman cheats, that's the end. There is no conversation after that. There is no conversation after that. But when I ask a question, how can you know what are the potentials of a good woman and you cannot identify a good woman? How can you identify a good woman? It's more or less like impossible. See, Trump got money. His wife ain't bothered that Stormy rode the Trump train. Okay. I never had a good experience with women to LOL. Now, first thing, Creed, let me speak to you. First thing that you said when I asked what is the thing to make you, I asked what are the potentials of a good woman? How can you identify a good woman? The only two things you said, and you said it twice, and they are only one thing. You said loyal and loyalty. So both of them are the same. How can you know someone who is loyal? I asked the question. There's no response to it. I think men in today's generation are beginning to fail beyond imagination, beyond comprehension. And trust me, being on live and talking about these things, it is a shame to me seeing that even men cannot identify how to get a good woman or what are the descriptions of a good woman. It is shameful to me. Imagine I am speaking on all these subjects and women are there looking at me, watching me. And all I can see is men talking about how women are bad leaders and this and that, and they can cheat and they are not loyal and this and that. And I'm saying, okay, as men, since we are more logical, how can we know a good woman? There are no good response. I said good woman. Oh, thanks for joining, Eniron. I never said I have a problem with them, LOL. No, Creed, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying it is shameful. It is shameful that there are too many red pill community everywhere and all kinds of conversations. And when it comes to the idea of we trying to even reason together as men, it's like it is impossible to see men that we can truly be logical in our perceptions. If I say, what kind of business can I do for you and I to make money? I believe we would have maybe 50 options. If I tell you, how do we discover if someone is a criminal, we would have 100 options. If I say, how can we boost this YouTube channel so that we can have more subscribers, I would have better options here, better opinion. But I'm asking, how can we identify a good woman? What are the potentials of a good woman? We can't even come up with 1 point. One. So what are the chances that we have made sure that our children will be able to have good relationship with their spouse? We have failed. We are not only failure as a man, we are failure as fathers. Because, put it in this perspective, if you have a daughter, what will be your perception of your daughter? You can't even, that means we can't even define how we want our daughter to be. So we can't even tell our sons that this is how you can make the right choice to find the right woman in your life. Somebody came up with a definition. It says a good woman is a woman who never raises her voice to the man and never has demands that the man does not fulfill. And of course, always remains faithful and honors the man. Even though it is coming from an opinion of that person or perception of that person, at least it is good. Trust me, it's not a fairy tale. Rusty, trust me, it's not a fairy tale. I am a living proof of that. That is not a fairy tale. The definition that person gave, there is more to it, but the person simplifies it. It is not a fairy tale. I can swear with anything. I have been in relationship with my wife for 8 years. She has never in her entire life raised her voice on me. For whatever issue, she has never raised her voice on me. How would you call that a fairy tale? Someone who honors her husband. There is nobody in my environment that can say negative things about me to my wife. I don't care why that maybe we are fighting. I don't care whatever issues is going on. She would never ever tolerate it. He says, if I don't have any because we don't have enough, my husband says that he is fasting anyway and doesn't need to eat anything, but dates to break his fast. So Funda is actually number one. Put it this way. I was thinking there's a possibility that Funda was a man. even though the person might put a picture, but the name seems like a female. Now she said something. She gave a definition of a woman. And now the definition she gives as a woman, it is, they say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. If she was a competitive woman, she wouldn't give such a definition. She would say strong and independent and knows her boundary. She didn't give that definition. She says a good woman is a woman who never raises her voice to the man and never demands that the man does not fulfill. And of course, always remains faithful and honors the man. If she can give that definition, she's talking about her own personality. Oopsie, what did I? Oh, you failed most women's demand. Rusty, I've said it before that for good 2 years, my wife was the one taking care of everything in my life for good 2 years. Initially, when I met my wife, for the first, after 6 months in our relationship, for at least 6 months, she was supporting me financially. She even gave me the money of her boss. She was a hairstylist during that time. And you see, we are defending our poor choices. You see Tyrese now is in jail, but he will keep saying, I love my children. I'm a great father. He speaks all kinds of English, but you are making the wrong choice. Speaking too much word and not knowing the right actions does not stop the consequence from revealing itself in your life. You said a woman, you said, I said most. You know full well most women demand a provider. The reason is basically because some women have certain mentality. Most women in the Western world have a different mentality. Now, the difference between some women and some women is basically because how competent are the women. But in fact, a woman can be an illiterate and she can be a good wife. A woman can be very educated and she can be a good wife. The truth is this: how can you discern between both of them? What are the qualities that you can see to select a good woman? Educated and can make money. This is Christina G. If you pick a woman because she's beautiful, she's staying alone, she's financially free, and the rest of it, that does not indicate if she's going to be a good woman to you. Yes, yeah, are usually called single mothers that do it because they have no choice. Now, here is exactly, I think I anticipated that we will get to this direction. Looking at the mindset, I believe everything you're saying to defend the fact that there is no good women, because if you don't know how to see the potentials of a good woman or how you can identify a good woman, I knew we will get to this junction. And if we do, it is because your mindset might come from bad experience of relationship. Now, because you have bad experience of relationship, you have made this decision. So moving forward, regardless of my advice, you held on to it that they are bad and they are no good women. Women cannot be leaders. And I say, good. You cannot even identify the good. Now, here's the caveat. If you have such a mindset, how can you keep blaming the black people who are talking about slavery and what has happened in slavery? You are traumatized with the idea of women, and you are not looking forward for the possibility. You are saying they are holding on to the past. And if they're holding on to the past, you are also holding on to the past. So as big as the universe is, as big as the UK is, as big as the US is, as big as these countries are, you are telling me that there is no good woman. And you can't even identify a good woman. Then that simply means you cannot tell a black person not to hold on to their trauma of slavery, of colonization, of what they've suffered through the reign of the British Empire and the Europeans. I am not even asking you to change. Now I'm just stating it out clear. There is no moral ground. There is no moral ground for you to say that when black people talk about their issues and what has happened to them in the past, and they hold on to it, and then you say, oh, they're supposed not to talk about their past anymore, because you are holding on to the past. Because what does it mean to be in the past when you do not have the possibilities to see the future? The possibilities to see a good woman is zero. You said it's fact. Is it not fact also that the black people suffered colonization and slavery until date? It is still affecting them. Is that not fact? Now you says my past is the present, same generation. Now when the black people are also speaking that what has happened in the past is still what they are experiencing right now, you say they are holding on to something that did not exist during their time. If the perceptions that you have currently is that women are terrible, no good women, no loyal women, do you think if our ancestors were seeing themselves that way, do you think they would have given birth to you? And how can you say slavery is not real in the life of the blacks? You cannot tell people not to hold on to their pain when you cannot even remove yourself from the pain. You said something again. You said experiencing now in their heads. Black America has already proven that Black Americans can be anything they want. So if Black Americans can be anything they want because they've proven it, do you think there is no possibility for you to prove yourself that you can find a good woman? Rusty, this is a bad argument. It is bad. What I'm just stating for you right now is this. You can't tell the black people not to hold on to their pain anymore. You have lost if anybody comes on the platform and begins to talk about colonization and slavery, you don't have a ground to deny them of speaking out those facts. It is fact. It is real. They experienced it. They still experience it. Wow. I'm sorry. That is what society calls hypocrisy. That is what society calls hypocrisy. On the individual base, you cannot even see possibilities of having a good woman. If you cannot treat an individual issue, how can you have the moral ground to talk about almost a cultural issues? I'm in my mid-30s and I know how to get a good woman. Because to get a good woman is very simple. First of all, it begins with you. Are you a good man? You cannot have a good woman if you are not a good man. Are you trusted? Can you trust yourself to a certain degree? I have said it before. The only way to get a good person is to be a good person first. Because when you know who you are easy to get what you want. When you don't know who you are, how can you know what you really want? Creed says, I am a good person, but I might have lost my way. Now you have to instill a little bit of discipline and principle in your life. When you can embody a lot of discipline and principle, you would know exactly someone who embodies the same thing, because you already understand the struggles it takes to discipline yourself to be who you need to be. When a thief sees a thief, he knows a thief. When a law enforcement sees another law enforcement, they know each other. When a Yahoo boy sees a Yahoo boy, he knows him. When a pedophile sees a pedophile, they recognize each other. When a gay meets a gay, you understand they know each other. When a lesbian meets a lesbian, they know each other. So good knows good, bad knows bad. The problem is ignorance. When one is ignorance, then you don't even know what you meet. Let's stop faking ourselves and telling ourselves that women are bad and all of that. We can't. I have said it earlier today that men took many years to be able to vet to have a good career. You know the kind of property you want, you know the location you want the property, you know how much you would use in investing in that property, you know how much labor, how much work you have to work to be able to get that kind of property, the kind of job you want in your life. You did all of that for many years. Now, when it comes for you to be able to select the woman that you will live with for the rest of your life, you pick some of them from the club, you pick some of them from the street. You can't even identify which one is good for you and which one is bad for you. And then you say, she breaks my heart. Who should be blamed for that? You want a good woman and you sleep with an harlot. Hello, Lisa. Thanks for joining. You came a little bit late. Yeah, because we are kind of, I'm just doing a little bit of punching today. She's a harlot. Yeah. They say women pretend, right? Men don't pretend. And I'm saying you can know people based off looking at their values. And I said it, that you can also look at the way she acts with everyone. Look at her friends, for example. Look at the friends that a woman keeps. The friend of a woman will tell you who she is. It's as simple. You don't need to debunk anything. This is not mathematics. It's not rocket science. Look at her friend. If she has 3 friends, look at the way, which of them is this one having a boyfriend and this one did not have a boyfriend and this one is single and this one likes club. When you see it, you would know exactly who she is. The proverb I've stated long time ago, birds of the same feather flocks together. To know a good woman, you don't need rocket science. Sex does not mean harlot. Just because someone has sex does not mean the person is an harlot. There is a personality to being an harlot. Personal relationship and social relationship are way different and can be hidden from each other. Not many friends of abuse victims would even have thought the abuser was capable of it. What does harlot mean? Harlot means someone who goes to sleep with men to make money. She does it to make money. That's prostitute. It is harlot. The same thing. If you're in a relationship with a lady and the lady loves you and maybe will they call it a testosterone or estrogen, whatever it is, and she loves having sex with you alone, that doesn't make her a prostitute or a harlot. And there are too many men today that are harlots, but they don't want to, they don't call themselves harlots because it is easy to label somebody else. I'm really ashamed, honestly. I'm ashamed. I should have known before I started today's conversation. I would have put a mask on my face. When I ask a question and I say, what are the potentials of a good woman? How can you identify a good woman? Personal can be hidden from social. I thought we live in an age where there's, what do they call it? Being a psychologist. Like we can read people easily. Right now, it's really bad. Time will tell if she's good or not. Let me put it this way. Just because a lady break up with you does not mean she's not good. If your identification or your definition is that a woman who does not break up with you is a good woman, that's not it. What is a good person? Let's not even put a gender to it. A good person is someone who would rather separate themselves from you than causing you harm. A good person, when they know something is going wrong, rather than them to do something that will cause problem for you, they rather walk away. Is that not what a good person is? If Tyrese had a good wife, if he had dated a good woman, regardless of the fact that they have issues, she wouldn't work for him to go to jail. It says, never mentioned her breaking up with me. Okay, loyalty, personality, and if she has good friends and how she treats her family. Yes, look at the friends she keep. See, let me put it this way. A woman who does not have maybe 2 or 3 best friends, and she has everybody is her friend. She has maybe like 20 friends, female friends that are very good friends. All of them have different kinds of personality. So that means you can't even trust it. But when you see the one who, if she's moving around the middle of 3 good friends, and I'm not saying she's not going to talk to other people, and you are watching these 3 people, how they actually relate with men, what are their perceptions with men, she most likely will be influenced. See, if I play bad music on my phone for 3 days, it will have an influence on me. You cannot underestimate the power of influence. Look at how she treats her friend. Look at how she treats her workers. Look at how she treats her family. If she and the workers, probably there's an issue between she and one of her friends, and she has been keeping the secret. Is she coming to you to tell you the secret when she's in a bad time with her friend? If she says bad thing about her friend when she's having misunderstanding with her friend, and she says it to you because you are a boyfriend, she will do the same to you when both of you are having issues to somebody else. Character simply means these are the things you function by. And I'm even asking, earlier today I was saying something. How many men are actually getting married to a woman? And for you to get married to a woman, you must be committed. In my life, I hate, what do we call it? Being in the midst of crowd. I hate being in the midst of crowd. Because of I want to get married to my wife, I had to stay in the midst of crowd on the day of the marriage. I wasn't expecting the number of the people I saw. Manshugiri, welcome. The woman before you, give yourself to her, but most people don't go that way. PEO, you want an A to Z of the woman before you, give yourself to her, but most people don't go that way. I really can't break that down. See, just because you are with the right woman, I've said it before, just because you are with the right woman, yes, I do know your story, Imanshugiri, but I can. Yes, you might find it easy. Now, you do not get married to a woman. This is one thing that most men don't understand. You don't get married to a woman. You marry the root of the woman, a family. That is what you marry, not the lady. And there's a purpose behind it. What is the purpose behind it? The purpose behind it is this. When you meet the woman, the first thing you have to trace is her family. You know, if someone comes from obesity, from a family of obesity, the chances that the person will be obese is there. Now, if you decide to choose a lady, you have to understand that there's a family history behind it. And trust me, the problem most men have today is that when they are getting married to a woman, they do not foresee the day they will disagree with the woman. I pay attention to the day of fight, not the day of peace, because the day of peace, there's nothing to learn there. It is just celebration galore. Who will she be when she's upset? Proceed with your question, Manshugiri. I'll most likely answer you while I proceed. So when you look at our family and you begin to ask, who are these families? One of the things you have to do is you are committing yourself to that family. And if you find favor in the eyes of the family and they know they are actually involved in giving you their daughter, one of the things you have psychologically done, because this is what culture and traditions is in Africa, what you have done is that they've known your family, you have known their family. The relationship have become more tighter. Each family are careful not to embarrass each other. So each of them will hold you to check. Sometimes if the lady wants to go to her mom will say, you better go back. I was with your father for a very long time. And we are still together. When you marry a lady that her mother have 10 husband or 10 husband, you should know exactly what you are getting yourself into. The question is this. Some people will say, I don't need to involve myself with the family of the woman. You have to ask yourself, do you really know what you are saying? The family is path. Either you agree or not, family are part of it. Now, if a woman comes from a family where a mother gets married to over 10 men, what are the chances that she wouldn't take such step? Because life is going to hit her to a point and she will see the reason why her mother probably did what she did. And that would encourage her to say, maybe my mother was right, even though I did not accept what my mom was doing. But if you know that the family have been together for a very long time, why would she want to be an exception to it? And besides, if I know your family and I've related with the family, the day when there are troubles, when you are supposed to pay child support or whatever, and you did not pay, the family will call their daughter in order and say, you can't put the father of these children in jail. Trust me, Tyrese did not know the family of his wife or is not involved with them. That is why they can see their daughter keep putting him in jail, finding laws against him every single time. Creed, you said, Beats, I thought they can think for themselves. You see, they said the earliest marriage that break up is between the period of 1 year to 5 years. You know why? Because both of them are not even used to each other. They even say it's between 1 year and 3 years. The purpose of both family is to nurture them on how to stay longer. There is no woman who has been in a relationship for more than 20 years who goes back to the family for advice, because she already has experience. Initially, just because you are 28, because you are 30, does not mean you understand marriage. You may have all kinds of education and the rest of it. The experience are always different. You need people to lead you through. Humans, everything we are doing in life has been based off people who are leading us, those experiences before us. So our parents who have been in relationship for 40 years and 50 years, when you go to them and you say, there's something my wife said today, I did not like it, your dad will tell you and say, don't worry, that's part of marriage. Don't let it get to you. This is what you should do instead. She will love you more. This is what you should do instead. But you can speak the whole English, you can read the whole novel. Until you get into the experience, it's going to be different. So Imanshugiri, let me see your message. You say, if there is a girl who don't look very pretty, but from nature, she's very beautiful and she's wife material, then if she propose you, what should we do? How do you know she's a wife material first? How do you know she's a wife material? What are the chances that make you know she's a wife material? Because she speaks softly? See, Creed, you cannot go into a relationship without thinking that you're not going to have dispute, because what if the family is no longer there? Then what? The same thing is what is applicable to your children. When you have children, your children cannot survive without the parent. The parent will guide the children after a period of time, nurture them, and as the children grow, they don't need the parents anymore. When you initially get married, you are related to the family. The family will guide the wife. Our family will guide her. You as a man, you might think you know it all, you don't. Your family will also give you advice. And when I talk about this, I'm not saying you go to them to report. I'm not saying both of you will go there to report, but perhaps she goes to see her family. Because let me ask you a question. Do you think most women who get married, they would never go back to their family for holidays? And if they go in holidays, they will start talking to their family. If they say negative things about you, let me put it this way. If a man comes to get married to my daughter, and I don't know the man, and my daughter comes to me with different complaint, and I'm not used to the man, what do I want to naturally do? I want to protect my daughter. So what is the advice I'll be giving to her is like, how do you come out of that relationship? But if I know that man that is committed to you, and I know his family that they are all committed to you, and I am also committed to them, it is easy for us to work it out. Peter Dabike says, who can marry your daughter? I would want to know if that is a question, or maybe you are just being sarcastic. If you are being sarcastic, whatever way, you are still stupid. You know, if you were in my presence physically and you said that, that's a wrap for you. it is a wrap. Just because you make that statement, that's a wrap for you. You ask a stupid question because you're a stupid individual. You would have been gone. You come to my platform and you ask me who would marry my daughter. Who can marry your daughter? I wish you were in my face. Who can marry my daughter? No, you don't ask such a question. It's either you are an illiterate. Who would marry my daughter? Alien. Anunnakis. Look at these people. You just do some kind of thing. I can be very cool when it comes to the idea of certain things. No, you are just very lucky. I believe it's basically because you don't know me and we just meet ourselves online. You come online, you come in real life, you meet me and you tell me who is going to get married to your daughter. It's a wrap. Good night for you. I don't play with my children with anyone. I don't want to understand. Take whatever explanation you have and shove it down your throat. And get off my line. Go to another channel and ask stupid questions. If he wanted to ask that, he said he meant as a father who could marry your daughter. Simple. That is the one I can answer. A responsible person is as simple as ABC. Anyone who wants to get married to my daughter has to be responsible first, needs to have discipline, needs to have principle, does not necessarily have to have the whole world, does not really need to have mansion, house. No. He has to be responsible. He has to have good work ethic. He has to come from a respectful home. He has to be respected by the society, by his community, from the place of his work. So if he's not responsible, what else? Who would I give my daughter to? Manshugiri says, please answer my 1, 2, 2. Let me go back and see if you have any question. Yeah. But I thought they can think for themselves. Okay, no, that's not you. That's if there's a girl who don't look pretty. I ask you a question, Iman Shugiri, and the question I ask you is that when you said a wife material, I was asking you, what do you understand that makes someone become a wife material? How do you know a lady who is a wife material? You can't just use a word material, a wife material, and that simply means she's a wife material. All these things boils down to character of a woman. What is her character? Is it because she's seductive? That's why you think she's a good woman? Is it because she's not making noise or she's just quiet? That's why you think she's a good woman? So you have to figure out the characteristics before you talk about a wife material. She should understand my feelings and be like friends and respecting my parents. And she cooks food for me and she's very calm. Well, what you're looking for is actually a slave. That's not a wife material. That's not a wife material. You just describe a slave. If you want a slave, you should understand that in today's society, that girl has these qualities. You are looking for someone to enslave. You need a woman sometimes who will push your button in the idea to challenge yourself and become a better version of you. Not a woman that always makes you feel comfortable every single time. A woman who cannot challenge you. A woman who cannot challenge you, who is afraid of you, who is trying to cook and do everything to please you, is not a wife material. The problem of today's society is that they are afraid of a woman who can speak up. And when a woman speaks up, it is a threat to them. You as a man need to understand that you can receive constructive or some criticism. When the only place you can mess me up and I can mess someone up is if you talk about my family or you talk about my nation. If you talk about my nation, you downplay my nation or you downplay my family, both of them, you better do it on social media and don't let me see you. I will throw logic out and you will see a beast. So when you are looking for a woman, there are few things you need to have. How hardworking is she? What home is she from? Just because she's calm and she's not saying anything, what idea can she instill inside of you? Can she advise you to do what is right? She supports me very much and try to motivate me always. Maybe you find a wife. There's a possibility. Maybe you find a wife. Look at her character. Look at her friends. Do you like all her friends? Do you like the choices her friends are making? I'm not saying like you have to love everything they do. Like in a sense that, do you respect the choices they make? The ones who tends to be our best friend. Then you have to ask yourself, do you not think that it's because she needs you or she's in a bad situation and she needs you to save her? That is why she's all those things to you. Because some women, because of situations, they will act to become, cook for you and respect and show your family all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, when you get married to them, you will see the magic. Are you getting it? I respect her every decision, but I want my wife to be very pretty. I don't know, but that is the truth. You want your wife to be very pretty. Go and do BBL for her. Or make money and give her money. Every woman is beautiful if you take good care of them. If you can provide for her, she'll be good. Woman, exactly where I'm going. I hope the face of a woman is not more important to you than the character. And I hope you are not watching too much pornography. Because most men, the reason why they can't have good time with their wife is basically because they are watching too much pornography. And when you are watching pornography, you are expecting her to be perfectly the way you see on social media. And then you are expecting her to be that kind of woman. That's why I say you probably will have to do BBL for her. You says, okay, let's be practical. Who don't want wife to be beautiful? You said beauty. If she's not attracted to you in the first place, she cannot possibly be your wife. If she's not attracted to you, she can't be your wife. Your wife can only be someone who is attracted to you. The only thing you can ask is she a clean person? Because a dirty woman cannot be a good wife. It cannot mix up. Jesus Christ, I've been speaking for up to 1 hour, 30 minutes. These days, I'm talking like motivational speaker. Now, wow. Chris says that social media things are not real. It's all fake. Yes, that's the thing. I don't find her attractive, but she's very good from heart. I have nothing to say. They say what God have joined together, let no man put asunder. Don't let me put asunder, so that God will not get upset with me. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe that's the reason why she's calm. Maybe that's the reason why she's cooking. Maybe that's the reason why she's respectful, because she knows she's not good looking. I'm just saying. Hey, thank you, Creed. Creed says I'm a good teacher. Don't be confused. Don't be confused, brother. Ah, thank you. From Imanshugiri. It means a lot. If you don't find your woman attractive, don't waste time. Let the next man love her that's attracted to her. Verse says, if you are not physically attracted, it will never work. Supports me very much, and she's loving. You want a bro, that's what Rusty just said. You're just looking for an external mother, and trust me, no real man wants to date his mother. A mother, in a sense, like a woman who does everything like the mother. I have said, please find someone else, but she's not understanding. If you don't want somebody, there's nobody that can force you to that person. Maybe you are greedy. Maybe you are stingy. And you are not giving her, you are using based off what you are benefiting from her to keep her calm. You are just using those language like, I don't want the relationship, so that her heart will keep breaking and she'll be doing more things for you to find favor from you. That's a bad thing. Imanshugiri, that's evil. You are taking advantage of her. If you truly don't like her, let her go. Yes, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Just like Lisa said, Just because you may not find a woman attractive doesn't mean the next man has the eyes you do. There's someone who will find her attractive. Ló bá tán. Stop looking for defensive mechanism. Said I block me, go away. Stop looking for defensive mechanism. If you don't want her, walk away from her. If she's looking for you, walk away and go a different place. It is not difficult for any man to separate himself from a woman, except he has not made up his mind. Women will consider, if a woman wants to separate herself from you, she will consider, she will plan. Men don't need to plan. You just have to get to the point and say, okay, I don't want her. So you can't say you are trying to walk away from her and she's choking you. It's a choice. Is it bad that I wish my wife to be pretty? I hope you are not artificial intelligence. I'm not speaking to a robot. Imashugiri. You are not. Because your questions are looking like I'm speaking to AI. Lisa says you will cheat on her. Okay, we are rounding up for the day. I've told you different things about how to get a good wife. I hope I have said some potentials. I think out of my definition, I've given us potentials on how to find a good woman. Character is the only thing that is the best thing you can even depend on in the first place. For you to trust someone, character is the best thing you can depend on. That's what you can bet on. Now, that doesn't mean that because she has good character, there's no possibilities for you to separate. See, the idea is that even if you would have to separate with the person, you know your life will not be miserable just because you are separating from that person. All these things I'm saying, I'm not saying that, oh, your marriage must be 1000%. If you have any challenges in the marriage, it simply means that you did not make the right choice. There's a possibility. The only thing is that hope they won't make your life miserable just because you are separating yourself from them. Do you have those understanding? Are you both matured enough? Does she have the character? Are you the same person too? And don't be a bad man looking for a good woman. It won't work. Karma will give you a pretender. And to be a man, to be a man, there's a responsibility to be a man. No. Responsibility to be a man, you have to discipline yourself very well. You have to build your character every time. You have to know your dark side and your good side. You have to have discipline, principle. You have to choose the right friend. You have to make your circle small. You cannot be a man. They say a man who is a friend to everybody is an enemy to himself. Don't be a people's pleaser. Make your circle small. In your circle, you can build good character. With the circle you have, you can build good character. I said it earlier, when my wife wanted to have my first son, I was afraid of myself. I was reading the old book. That was what pushed me more into meditation. But you know that you have to do the work on yourself. And don't think that because you have been able to have the woman, it simply means you shouldn't improve yourself. You must continuously improve yourself. Because the better you are by improving yourself, the easier she becomes a problem to you. Big wisdom know how to deal with stupid people. I'm not saying your wife is stupid, though. Don't go and misquote me. Oh. When your intelligence is getting high, when someone is doing something stupid to you, you know how to mitigate around it. It is more easier for you to flow because you are knowledgeable. Let us ask ourselves a question. Apart from these conversations we are having on this particular platform, how many times are we so much participating in such kinds of conversation apart from this one? The friends we have, are they participating in such conversation? Or are we the only one trying to seek for salvation? Simple. People can use you if you are not on their level. In fact, be ahead of them. When they say women are hypogamy, a lot of people think that hypogamy simply means she wants more money from you, more money from you. Sometimes it's not about your money. Sometimes it's about your knowledge. Most times, my wife will come to me and tell me, I want to hear your opinion on something. I want to ask for your advice on something. That is giving. Some men, their women cannot ask them for anything. Can I ask your advice on something? Your brain will just be like, that's how your brain will be sounding. Like a bad speaker. She can't discuss anything, ask your opinion on something. Logical, critical information, she cannot derive it from you. It's not about my phone should work or something like that. You have to improve yourself. Physically, mentally, some people, they will only focus on physical. They start doing press up, press up, press up. When you speak to them, empty head. Only what they have in their brain is iron, how to carry, lift iron. Physical attraction. They don't work on mental attraction. In marriage, you must be physically attractive. They may say financially attractive, mentally attractive. And trust me, women are more stimulated mentally than physically. That's what I've been saying. Oh, character is more important than looks. Oh, yes. But you have to ask yourself, hope you are not greedy. Hope you are not selfish. Hope it's not because someone is succumbing to you. That's the reason why. Hope she's not pretending. You would ask yourself those questions. Manipulation is really something else if you don't know how to combat it. Yeah. See, the idea is this. You have to learn and you must know as a man. There's an importance of meditation. Some people do not understand the importance of meditation. People think that meditation simply means you have to do like this. No, that's not meditation. Or you have to do like this. That is not meditation. Meditation comes in different way. Meditation comes from the fact that people speak to you, and when people speak to you, you can go back. If it is a sensitive topic, you can go back and reflect on it for a very long time. Waniac 917, my man. Well done, sir. Long time. Been a while. Welcome, sir. You came when we are rounding up, sir. So for you to meditate, you have to see. You have to be a pillar that a woman can rely on. Not just financially, but mentally. You said what? Hope you have a great day rest. Yes, sir, I did. Yes, sir, I did. Thank you very much. Then I am not good from inside because I value both looks and character. But I don't. Why am I like this? I want looks too, but I also want good character. Let me break it to you. I'm not Christ Jesus. I don't have the whole answers. Some problem is with you. You as a problem, I can't solve you until you are willing to work on yourself. We can debate from morning till night. If you are not willing to do the work on yourself or grow up, maybe one of my secrets was because I spoke to a lot of elderly people when I was young. So if you are the problem, you have to work on yourself to change your perception. And to change your perception, you have to question your belief. Why do you so much invest on a pretty woman? Where did it come from that the woman must be very pretty? Why must she look in a certain kind of way? I hope you are not watching pornography. Excessive. Trust me, if your focus is too much on the pretty, there's an issue here. The issue is you are engaging yourself in what you are not supposed to engage. How do you know when it is excessive? I am fine. Tiger Vlogs. Good day, sir. I'm sorry we're already rounding up, but I appreciate you writing. When you get friction, but when you watch it regularly every day, you see the difference. When you said something, you said it is when you watch it regularly every day, that is when it makes you maybe addictive to it. Everybody's dose for a medicine is different. Yesterday I came your live, but no reply from your side. Oh, I'm really sorry. I never noticed. Sometimes the chats are just coming and we would not notice. Imanshugiri, you don't know if you are addicted because you have to ask yourself what is actually bringing you to that particular place in the first place. And now the dosage is different from everybody. How can I go away from these looks things? I understand, sir, you are busy or sorry for inconvenience. No, not at all, not at all, not at all. I am the most jobless, jobful, busy, unbusy kind of person. My work are not like work. I don't work like I have a job. I can be very busy at the same time I'm not busy. So, but when it comes to the idea of paying attention to people, it is my hobby. Whenever people go are having stuff they want to discuss with me on, or something to review on stuff, it is my hobby. Is there anything in your mind that you would have loved to ask me, Tiger Vlogs? Probably I was unable to see them yesterday. Not at all. Is there any question you would like to ask? You are from India. Okay, proceed. Tiger Vlogs, if you have anything question you want to ask me, please proceed. Iman Shugiri says, sir, please tell me how can I get always from that looks thing? Rusty. Oh, blood of God. I don't know what this channel would be without Rusty. I don't know what this channel would be without Rusty. Rusty was sent from above. Amazing. Rusty is Russian. Sorry. Imashigiri, there's few things you need to work upon yourself. And if you do, you have to reflect on yourself, why you like the things you like, and then you mitigate around some things. Maybe if you really want us to discuss on it, I may not give you the answer right here. It's something that we will have to discuss. My contacts, my WhatsApp contact is on my page, on my YouTube page. Go there, pick up the WhatsApp contact and chat me up if you're actually thinking about it. Or you can write me through my email address. You need to let go of the look thing. Yes, absolutely. I think no, there are few things you have to you are attracted to, and if you are attracted to those things, yes, you can, but don't let it become your primary. Don't let it become your primary focus. And so there are other things that are making you pursue it. You have to identify it so you can find your way around it. So just text me. We can always continue the conversation. But it's the God-given thing that a man like pretty women, don't you think? Don't worry, we will discuss more on it. You can just text me. If I did not respond now, I will respond later. Tiger Vlogs, I hope you are okay. Tiger Vlogs from Mumbai, India, I hope you are fine. Is there something you're trying to share and you're being skeptical? Thank you, Manshugiri. Make we no fight you. All right. With that being said, we are going off for today. Hopefully, we meet tomorrow morning for maybe about 1 hour, 30 minutes, and then 7 p.m. also tomorrow morning. We'll be coming out with a new, fresh topic um, by tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much, Iman Shugiri. Thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Creed. Thank you, everyone who has chatted me up. Tiger Vlogs, Lisa, Waniac 917. Thanks for coming back. And Ron, every other person who have had discussions with me. And for that person who I deleted, who did not state his question very well. And Funda, I appreciate your insight. Thank you very much. Hope to see you all tomorrow in our next episode. Have a great night. Take care of yourself. Adios, amigos. Bye bye for now. Oh, 7. Good day. Creed says, yeah. Girl, find someone you are attracted to, not someone who can just care for you. Spot on. Yeah. Bye for now. Sorry, 7. We are rounding up for the day. I'm sorry I'm cutting up. I don't like just hanging up on you guys. I don't like hanging up on you guys, but I have to do some stuff. Have a great day. Bye bye for now. Let's see tomorrow by 7:30 p.m. I'll be on live also tomorrow morning. Good night.